Button. Nigga, stop. Bro, fucking stop. Like, I will kill you, kid. If you keep fucking with me. Like, you really think I'm playing? You put another 1,000 bounty on me, huh? Wasn't trying to slide and kill me.
Hey, what's going on? Okay, I'll get you out of trouble. No problem.
I am okay. Yeah, what? I'll be back. Baby. Now let's see if you could kill me. Let's see. Or should I say maybe, or should I say Missy, or should I say Kissy? Or should I say Kissy? Nigga, don't ever hit my car again, nigga. What's wrong with you? Don't ever hit my car again. Ever, nigga. I wasn't gonna pop in your nigga. You know I was gonna go off, nigga. Now you got that sniper, like. See. Oh, so this nigga is trying to shoot me. Guess what? I got high grounds, nigga. inside your house. And then you go on the surface, oh, you done start bringing in the choppers. Like in an elite chopper. Start with that monster. When I come through, everybody say, damn, cause I'm a monster. Cock your bitch back. Turn into a pop star. Good. Good. We got them rotating inside the hood. We got them roaches. We got them roaches inside the crib. Inside the roaches inside the crib. Yeah. Roaches inside of a crib. We got them roaches inside the crib. Inside it. Them roaches inside the crib. Inside the crib. Inside the crib. Yeah. Oh. Change. Rex, big Rex. Why don't you know big Rex? Okay.
We got big racks, no Selena. Window poking, pocket jacket, you so keen. How you split, bro? You the bitch, bro. You know the niggas get stitchy, we pull up and leave they ass dead in the ditches. We got big racks, no Selena. Window poking, pocket jacket, you so keen. How you split, bro? You the bitch, bro. You know the niggas get stitchy.
So, we will try and set up here for the perfect ambush. It looks like I am here just to learn on that.
YNW Melly has been behind bars at the Broward County Jail for over a year now. He has in jail. But little do you know that he's actually been getting in brawls with inmates, making prohibited phone calls, and even flooding his entire unit on purpose. Curious on what else YNW Melly has gotten into while behind bars? Well, then we got you covered. Here is an exclusive inside look at YNW Melly's life behind bars. Now, for those of you who are unaware of why Melly's even in jail in the first place, let me give you a brief rundown. Back in October of 2018, YNW Melly's close friends, YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juby, were shot and killed in an alleged drive-by in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Melly and YNW Bortland were in the car with him at the time, and drove the two to the hospital where they told the police what exactly happened. The police weren't buying Melly and Bortland's story, and after months of investigating, the authorities gathered enough evidence to assume that YNW Melly and YNW Bortland staged the drive-by and actually shot Sack Chaser and Juby themselves. Bortland was soon arrested on February 12, 2019, and Melly turned himself in a day later on February 13, 2019. If you want more details on that part of the story, you should check out the video we released a few months back titled The Criminal History of YNW Melly. A link to that video will be in the description below. YNW Melly currently resides on the 6th floor of the Broward County Jail. He spends his days hanging out with his other inmates and the general population, talking on the phone with friends and family, visiting with his legal team, and surprisingly, snacking. Financial statements show that Melly has multiple people that have been sending him money with deposits hitting his account almost weekly. The two most frequent people to send him money and care packages are his mother, Jamie King, and his manager, Jameson Francois. Between February 2019 and March 2020, YNW Melly has spent over $4,000 on commissary purchases, and on average spends over $100 a week. The items he's purchased the most are Oreos, Grandma's cookies, jalapeno pretzels, Doritos, stuffed jalapeno chips, honey buns, Flamin' Hot Cheetos, cinnamon rolls, and hot cocoa. It was also reported that Melly often buys thank you and miss you cards, pencils, pens, paper, reading glasses, headphones, playing cards, Spanish to English dictionaries, and ibuprofen as well. The way Melly...
Yes, Alina. Man, I Fast and Furious. Fast and... Keep playing what video? I don't know what video you talking about. Don't know why, but okay.
So, we'll try to set up here for this perfect ambush. It looks like I am here just a little...
Melly gets these items is by filling out a form and checking off each item that he wants. Inmates in the Broward County Jail have, on average, about $22 in their accounts and have an $80 limit on food and over-the-counter medicine and another $80 limit on clothing. So in total, they can spend up to $160 per week on commissary items. Then, when YNW Melly is not going on a shopping spree in the jail commissary, he's often in the jail for visitation himself. The Broward County Jail only allows inmates to have in-person visits with law enforcement, attorneys, and religious ministers. In the past year or so, Melly has had around 170 visits, with most of them being with his legal team as they prepare for his trial. 2 visits that stood out were from an apparent prison minister named David Morgenstern, a man who has ties to the Traficante crime family, also known as the Tampa Mafia. The Traficante crime family were apparently the main mob operating in Florida and Cuba. David, along with his twin brother Fred Morgenstern, were members of the Traficante family's network and were largely involved in the mob's investment schemes and money laundering that were funneling millions of dollars into banks overseas. The two were eventually caught and sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. David was released in 2018 and started a non-profit organization called Last Door Incorporated, where he meets with inmates and discusses various topics revolving around religion. According to T.C. Palm, David didn't go into details about the conversations he had with YNW Melly, but says he's quite a talker and that he seems to be encouraging everybody in there. He's very enthusiastic. Morgenstern also mentioned that he hasn't personally met with YNW Melly ever since he was moved into a different part of the jail back in October of 2019, although he claims to still see Melly when he visits the pods every Thursday night. Now, aside from all the snacking and visitations, YNW Melly actually seems to be having a difficult time behind bars. Even though he tends to give this image on social media that everything's all good, according to his disciplinary report, Melly has had several confrontations with guards and other inmates, as well as violating several jail policies. These actions have resulted in privileges such as recreation, commissary purchases, and visitation being taken away from him, and he has even been sent to solitary confinement for days on end. The first major incident took place a month after he arrived in jail. On March 13, 2019, Melly apparently made a 3-way phone call, which is not allowed and is considered disruptive conduct. That phone call made him in violation of 3 jail policies, which resulted in Melly having to serve more than 30 days in solitary confinement, as well as all privileges being taken away from him. Then, 2 months after that, Melly was charged with threatening or disrespecting an officer. The details of this incident were not listed, but he was ultimately punished with 20 days of solitary confinement and a loss of all privileges once again. Several months later, in September of 2019, Melly apparently placed a towel inside of his toilet in his cell and proceeded to flush continuously until the top and bottom of his unit was flooded. The deputy who reported to the flooding said that YNW Melly admitted to flooding the cells on purpose and was threatening him. Melly was supposedly quoted saying, "Yeah, I flooded it. Now go get your sergeant. I'll beat all y'all, and I have real lawyers to get me out of it." The deputy handcuffed Melly soon after, and the entire unit was eventually evacuated. Melly was ordered to serve 20 days in solitary confinement, lost all of his privileges, and had 10 days of probation for all this. The most recent behavior situation YNW Melly had was in February of 2020. when he allegedly got into a fight with 5 other inmates in his cell blocks in Glaciers. One was for fighting with another inmate for his privileges. In total, Y.W. Melly has spent 70 days in solitary confinement due to his actions behind bars. As of today, Y.W. Melly is still behind bars as he awaits his trial. In the beginning of April, Y.W. Melly tested positive for coronavirus, which resulted in his lawyer, Bradford Cohen, proposing an emergency motion to the judge for Melly to be released from jail and placed on house arrest so he can receive proper medical attention. Fans on social media made it seem that this was his ticket to freedom after seeing fellow rapper 6ix9ine being released due to the same reasons. But on April 14th, 2020, the judge denied this motion and says that if Melly needs special medical treatment while in jail, he can just request it from the Broward Sheriff's Office. Melly is currently sharing a cell with another inmate who tested positive to coronavirus as well, and the date for his trial is still unknown. So, will Y.W. Melly get out? Now, that's a good question. You see...
Stay here, bro. Okay. Fast and the Furious, stuck on my dude, stuck on my mirror. Mama, Nama, Kama, Mama, Nama, Kama, Dama.
Oh yeah. All these horses in my car got me going fast. I just wanna do the dash, put my pedal to the gas. Going so fast, hope I don't crash. One false move, that could be my last. All these horses in my car got me going fast. I just wanna do the dash, put my pedal to the gas. Going so fast, hope I don't crash. One false move, that could be my last. I just pulled up in the bag, it was just me and my man. This for no time, bring your hoe on friend. Coming back into the movie, ain't got no love for the trophy. See back while she do me, she get wetter than jacuzzi. She don't ball like a red light, she get red through like a red light. She head right, then the bread right. Don't you know I be there every night? Rollin', what they want like steak sauce. Never the pussy I take off, can't see me looking like Ray Charles. Tell me slow down, I'm going too fast. Nigga, I just wanna do the dash. I'm so reckless, hope I don't crash. I'm rolling, like the whip stolen. Yeah, all these horses in my car got me going fast. I just wanna do the dash. Going so fast, hope I don't. Yeah, all these horses in my car got me going fast.
But I ain't even heard this song. I remember when this song was first made. I ain't even remember how it goes though. Oh God.
Can't nobody get up in my car today.
Definitely playing that, bro.
Tell me what's the rush. You don't know me well. I'm alone in hell. All the shit I did. I'm a trouble kid. You can't break my code. You can't. I got hella raps. I might fuck around and go legal. Living better, she can get.
Alright, this is probably go hard.
Yeah. No more. J-Do, with the bullet. Bust. Come on. We roll like this. That's how we roll. We roll like this. Y'all know what we do. Y'all know exactly how we rollin' and we hugging every block. No matter how police patrolling and we do it how we do it. Whether it's now or it's later, and we always handle business that we got. Get in this place for what you want, what you need. As we walk through every corner, every hood, and every street, and every block, we got it covered. Throwing money while we're in the club. The shorty on the pole is getting poppin' in this bitch. My clip coming through the shoes. I get up in that bed and started all you hear is boom, roaring up the engine till it look like a balloon. Like my dirt, hit the clutch, throw it in the gear and turn in the fast car, driving like it's NASCAR, tearing up the asphalt when I'm in that Jaguar, dipping away from Nassau, red line in the dashboard, girls blowing fire like a rocket up the blast off. You know how we roll, you know how we do it. You know we the realest when it come to doing music. I wanna see me prove it, baby. If I gotta lose it, turn your radio out. You gon' hear the music, take your spit, ain't no minute. Why the hell you doing that? How the hell you be a loser? Hating on me, I'm the best. I be losing no competition. If there's any, give me more. My flows are never getting used for. Don't need a gene, a Ouija boy. We roll again. That's how we Here we go again. Better to the man, now we going in the weed. You better stop that. You try to front, you won't know we kill it to the end. And here we gotta go secure another win. With that money, with your mouth is spin. Let's get it poppin'. Everybody know that. What we in the building? Here we going in. Couple Porsches, couple Bugattis, Phantoms, Derek, Ram, Rangers, couple of Maybachs, suited and booted, SLR, McLaren, business rolling. See the way we holding, see the money folding. Everybody see the way we hit it. I chosen when we hit the road and everything is golden. You already know how to get it. Oh, heel out on that ass. 160 weed on the dance. Hand on the wheel and my feet on the gas. Got everything on smash. Y'all know more. Let's get it. Read the bill. Say no. What up? See the way we do it. See the way we cut up. Put the money with the mouth there. Don't shut up. Leave the shots. Everybody in that place when it's put together. We gon' pop. Ready if you ready. Y'all be know when we run up. We come to take over the street. Y'all niggas know the goal. Every time we put it down, the whole world know that's how we roll. We roll.
Everything come, nigga.
Hell, Breezy. Let me show you how to keep the dice rolling when you're doing that thing over there, homie. Let's go! I'm feeling like I'm running and I'm feeling like I gotta get away. Better know that I don't and I won't ever stop, cause you know I gotta win every day. See the way you wanna pop me, just know that you will never pop me. And I know that I gotta be a little cocky. You gonna stop me. Every time I come, a nigga gotta set it, then I gotta go, and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow, and then I gotta shut it. Any little thing a nigga think that he be doing, cause it doesn't matter, cause I'm gonna do it. And everything about boom, about a thing, I gotta do a lot of things to make it clear to a couple niggas that I was winning, and I gotta get it. And I be doing it, and now I move a little power, nigga better call a rap, and everybody know I style, niggas know that I come to do it, and I be banging up stuff, and I bang it, and I bang it, and I wear some stuff, I give you more, and I will never give you that, you was dipping in the street, and beat it in the press, you really wanna know what's next? See the way we on it, and we all in the race, and everybody's gonna try to go with the race, we struggle on the house, and the shit, and all you gotta do is take it to another place, gotta take it, and I gotta grab it, all through the traffic, just to...
Dang, what's the Rose be snapping? Nigga, that's a phone. Dang, this bull.
Contact with Strife.
He said I can't do some shit.
9-7. Bust a bus. Hot shit. Check it out. If you would know the lanes of what you saying, yo. Sitting with my 9 milli with the Billy, yo. I be on the mic as I do my duty, yo. While up in the club like we while in the studio. You don't wanna vibe, nigga, really and truly, yo. My main thug, nigga, named Julio, he knew yo. I'm a nigga that'll slap you with the tulio. Bitch niggas scared to death, act fruity, yo. Fuck that, look at shorty, she a little cutie, yo. The way she shake it make me wanna get her in the booty, yo. Top niggas just sit with banging bitches and videos. While I'm with my feet like we up in the freak show. Hit you with the shit make you feel it all in your nose. Hot shit, got all you niggas that wear clothes. Styling my metaphors when I formulate my flows. If you don't know, you fucking with lyrical player pros like that. You really wanna party with me? That means see what you got for me. Put all your hands in my eyes to see. Straight buck violent in the place to be. If you really wanna party with me, that means see what you got for me. Put all your hands in my eyes to see. Straight buck violent in the place to be. If you really wanna party with me, hang out with trust. Yo, it's some I think you heard of us, so we murder us. A lot of niggas is wondering and they curious. I mean, my niggas do it, it's so mysterious. Serious, all of my niggas is serious. Shut niggas be walking around fearing us. Front nigga like you don't wanna be hearing us. Gotta listen to how radio be playing us. 30 times I take shit to make you delirious. Damaging everything all up in your areas. Yo, it's funny how all the chickens be always serving us. So all in between the ass really wanna carry us. 50 good, then I hit them up with the alias. Various chickens, they wanna marry us. Yo, it's flip mode, my nigga, you know we about to bust. Instead of taking money, the people preparing us. Fight the dust instead of you making the fuss. Niggas know better cause there ain't no comparing us. Mad at us, niggas is never retarded us. Take my people off with the flow that be marvelous. Oh shit, my whole nigga Victoria. Nigga, no prison niggas is straight up warrior. Why you feeling that? I know you be feeling so glorious. From my place to reminisce on my nigga notorious. Well, I really wanna part like that means see what you got for me. All your hands in my eyes to see. Straight buck violent in the place to be. If you really wanna party with me, let me see what you got for me. Put all your hands in my eyes to see. Straight buck violent in the place to be. If you really wanna party with me.
Alright, Busta Rhymes raps live.
Big Boys Neighborhood, the one and only infamous, ladies and gentlemen, the living legend Busta Rhymes is in the neighborhood. Now, Bust, this is what we do, man.
Yeah.
We do this thing called neighborhood karaoke.
Right.
E-Man, every song that he put on, you got to do live for us. Alrighty? Man, look at that. Hey man, look, they hit me up for the bootleg in Japan already. I sent them, man. We got a karaoke coming up with Bus, and they ordered the samples already. All right, so you ready, Bus?
Let's do it.
DJ E-Man, let's get down, Big Boy's neighborhood.
Don't this hit make my people wanna? 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 Who gonna do Diddy Bar? I go. If you wanna act the fool, you better watch out. Hot chicks is bringing the cops out. Street soldiers is bringing them shots out.
Blacking the blocks out. Open it. E-Man got you. Bringing the blue blocks out.
Diamonds light up the block, bringing the blue rocks out. While to all of my crew knocks out. Come on. Throw your hands if you want some more. Oh. Come on, look up, we got them ready to act out. Girl, I'm ready to get the twisted and back out. Come on.
Let's go. My car is here. Gotta get every day in the rain. Oh, gotta look. Alright, let me hear his two times. Where's love? Let me at least see if it goes hard, please. Hold on. Oh, that actually slaps.
Finna be some energy, we got the remedy. I'm in the vicinity of a nigga that can spit it with me. Feel the fight whenever we act up. Everybody else is a compatible with the artillery. Don't forget about it when you hear about it. Class on the path to a time of buster. Hit a victim in the middle of the body with a bullet and a rhythm. Every murder in your structure. Every time I hit you, nigga, with another tenor. I'm like, I'm be sounding like a nigga full of anger. Now I'm like the beat you in the head. I'm bringing out a banger. One man in the west said it, we really got a ranger. You don't really want to see when you're coming in and give it to you. Get it, bullet to the nigga now. Do what I want to do is I'll make another nigga drop. I'm gonna do it, homie, I'm the one. Go ahead, we can never carry it to what you want to carry it to. Do whatever you want to do. Show the competition how we gonna do. We gonna do a better nigga than in front of you. I'm gonna be coming up to get in the road so fast. They always flash. Don't nobody really wanna be hit him like a couple of millimeters and move a nigga ass. Sleeping all over another just praise hit. I know a lot of y'all was thinking and waiting. Was we ever gonna do this shit? And then we came to hit him with another flow pop champagne and celebrate and give another show. Got a campaign, the greatest nigga y'all already know that happening. This kind of shit. Still gotta go. Now I gotta ask y'all. Can you keep up? Can you keep up? Can you keep up? Can you keep up? I'm trying to guess the you can. Can you keep up? Can you keep up? Can you keep up? I'm trying to guess you try. Hit the bitch because of another threat, so another breath. He gon' pick up where I left off. Keep up with it when it's ready, cause the focus is finished. I'm a menace when the first lyrical tag off. Go faster than Ricky Bobby. Get in the rhythm of the night. A nigga try to get up with a nigga hit up. With it in the opera, but you gotta pay the price. Look, come on everybody when I come and try to get a little taste of the shit. They gotta let me put it on my face. When I feel like I got a nigga while I'm all over the place. Everybody better listen. Yeah. So you know that when I bring it up, whenever never stop. Make a nigga every one and I bring it back to the top. Throw the shit up in the street and I be running every block. Everybody better stand clear. I'm really be the winner before from the track up. I'm motivated for little when I'm on the act up. A couple of phenomenal niggas stack up. But there's anybody that's on the leg of the back up. Whenever I'm gonna flip out, I'm gonna be attacking them with the S.A. flow. Literally having a calling switch to Phelps. I'm a nigga bust like Usain Bolt. Shock a nigga like I was 1,000 volts. Now I'm chilling on the beat the way I'm chilling on the boat. Still free, I gotta kill him in the way I gotta flow. You know, I'm not just my boy, cause I when I'm spot, you know you can't leave and I spit every word too. You never heard until you know me. I gotta ask y'all. Can you keep up? Can you keep up? Can you keep up? I'm trying to catch me, you can. Can you keep up? Can you keep up? I'm trying to catch you. You can talk about it with a bunch of people that say that I'm a lyrical manifestation of rhythm. Then I come and do the shit I gotta do when I think I'm gonna get them and do it every single time I hit them. When I do it, it's gotta be accurate. I can attack the rhythm with something about tenacity. See the way the rhythm back in the back in the back. Tell me in the prison with the capacity. I be coming with it, he be coming with it, and nobody really do it how we do it. And the flow is so fluid, it gotta be, and I'm only gotta be honest apology, and I'm a beautiful wanna prove it. Do you ever forget it the way we coming in the center? Somebody can probably really need a minute to get it better than alphabetical order. We coming in the order, so call out the order, see what we do it. Now I gotta ask y'all. Can you keep on? 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 I'm trying to test me. Can you keep on? Can you keep on? Can you keep on? I'm trying to test me. Trying to test me. Big deal. Bill, just Max Remo. He's a bad dude. You know, we only got $48 to get this man convicted. 74 time. How am I going to do this? I ain't got a partner. You do now. Oh my God.
Buck wild to all of my niggas who don't care. Lost like a bunch of young black millionaires. Making it run, me and my gun stacking my ones. Lost a little invest up in the mutual fund. Blowing the horn, a sense of every day of the born. Never dream I see a nigga landscaping my lawn. Dangerous, my nigga should be accurate. Have to get the flow be so immaculate. Hey yo, watching my dough, sipping my mo. Sipping it slow, the pretty bitches singing hello. Anyway, go ahead and display your olive oil. Little honey dip within a little cabriolet. I don't mean a holy one, but I got something to say. Swear to only give you half.
No, baby. No, my favorite color. I'll be back, bro.